One of the first things you'll want to do when you're setting up a new drawing in AutoCAD is to create and set multi-leader styles. In this video, I'll show you how to create multi-leader styles, both simple ones and multi-leader styles using blocks. You can see that in this drawing, I already have a multi-leader style set up, but I'm going to go through how to create this one, or how I created this one, and how to create another one in addition to it. So the first thing you want to do is make sure I'm working in paper space here. Usually your multi-leaders go in paper space. That way you don't have to worry about making them annotative or trying to figure out what scale they should be. If you want information on how to use annotative text, dimensions, and multi-leaders, look on my channel and I'll put a link to the video on annotative text and dimensions in the comments section. But in this one, I'm just going to create a simple one that is non-annotative. What you'll want to do is make sure that you're on the Annotate tab here in AutoCAD, and then down on the Multi-Leaders panel, you can either choose the sideways arrow here, which will take you to the Multi-Leader Style Manager. You can drop down the list and you can choose Multi-Leader Style Manager, or you can type in MLS at the command line. Once you do, it's going to bring up your Multi-Leader Style Manager. If I wanted to create a new one, I would simply pick wherever I wanted to start from. In this case, if I wanted to start from structural and choose new, it's going to ask me to give it a name. I'll choose copy of structural because it doesn't really matter. Continue. And then from here, you can just make your way through the 3 different tabs and change all the settings. So for example, the leader format is defaulted as straight, but you can change that to a spline, which kind of makes it give it a little bit more natural architectural feel. I know that a lot of architects like to have that spline instead of the straight one. However, most mechanical people like to have that straight there. You can come in and you could change the color, line type, and line weight, but I suggest you leave those all as by block. It makes sense because then they assume the characteristics of whatever the target layer is. You can also come in here and you can change the arrowhead symbol and size, so you can change it to whatever is appropriate for your situation. There's a variety of different arrowheads that they could be, some of them for GD&T, some of them for illustrative type of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and leave that at closed filled and my size. And break size, if you've got them breaking, which I don't usually do, you could change that there as well. On the leader structure, you can come in here and specify how many points you want it to have. You can give it the first segment angle or the second segment angle if you want to enable either of those. Coming down a little bit further, you can tell it how you want the landing to be. In this case, it says automatically include the landing, which I like to have so that you automatically get that landing there. And the landing distance, I usually set that in 1/8 of an inch if my text is 1/8 of an inch. Again, if you're making it annotative, here's where you can click to make it annotative. And again, for those of you who don't know, annotative text and dimensions can be placed in model space, and then they will automatically adjust the scale so that they will plot to the size that you want them to plot. And then finally, we have content over here, which is, multi-leader, or M-text. So this is M-text here. You could do multi-lines of text if you want to. Of course, you can set whatever the text style is that you want it to have. Okay, I have that set as notes there. I like to always keep my text horizontal in my leaders, multi-leaders, but again, you'll want to make sure that you're following whatever your company's protocols are on that. Again, text color, you always leave that by block, okay, for the same reason as what we did with the leader format. And then on your text height, again, just being consistent, whatever your text height is. On this drawing, all of my text is 1/8. Sometimes on drawings, I will leave that text or set the text at 330 seconds. And then you've got your horizontal attachment or your vertical attachment, how it's going to be, and all that. So you can choose OK. Now, I'm going to cancel that. If I wanted to create one that had a block in it, let's say on this drawing here, I'm going to cancel this. Let's say that this drawing is here, but I've got a detail of maybe this base plate on another sheet. I can create a multi-leader that will have the call out for that. So I'm going to do that here. I'll come in here and I'll say, again, let's go to that multi-leader management, and I want it to look just like structural, but I want it to have that call out. So I'll say new, and then instead of copy of structural, I'm just going to call it structural with a call out. And then I'm going to start with structural and choose continue. All of these things can remain the same because I want it to look just like my structural one, but the only thing that I want to change here is that I want to change it from mText to block. And when I do, you'll see that there are several different blocks that I can choose. The one that I want is this detail callout so that it has the view number and the sheet number. But there's several other ones, or you could even create your own block. Remember that when you put this block in, what it does is it puts it in at the end of that attribute, or at the end of that shoulder. So right about there where my mouse is, that's going to be your insertion point. But this is good for what I want now. So I'll choose OK, and then you can come in here and you can change the scale, but this is just the right scale. I'm not going to change that. I'm going to choose OK, and then I will set that as current and choose close. So now when it's time for me to place that call out in, I can simply come in here and say I want a multileader that comes from here, and it gives me the ability now to fill in the view number and the sheet number. So maybe it's view number 6 on sheet S2, whatever it happens to be. Choose OK, and it fills in that information for me. So super easy to do, but it's going to save you a lot of time so that you don't have to draw all that geometry, and it gives you the opportunity to fill it in when you're using it. Thanks for watching. If you like these videos, be sure to like and subscribe, and comment below if you have any questions.